Hello, everybody. Welcome in. It's another beginning to a new series. And as we embark in this pretty beautiful journey of this goddess Lakshmi, and this is a story that is near and dear to my heart because it kind of symbolizes and holds in context the core message of what I am and what I believe. And that is, we must truly learn to look within and love what's there. And it's a process. It's not something that just happens overnight. We have some days where we really get a glimmer of the love that lives inside of us, the magnificence, the deep soul beauty of who we are. And those moments are so fleeting. And that's, I think, by design. It's part of the contraction, expansion, the spanda, the revelation and contraction that the tantric practice teaches. And so when you hear a myth, when you hear one of the stories of these great deities, it's really helpful to keep in mind that you are every character in the story, that it's playing itself out right now in your very experience of life. And that these myths and these stories hold great value and depth in uh, the yoga tradition and in India in general, like in all the traditions. So um, once upon a time, a long, long time ago, there was this really great sage, Durvasas, and he has so much wisdom and so much depth to him. But one of his downfalls is he's often quite grumpy and can see pretty much all the negative things in life. And then one day he wakes up and he's in one of those particularly good moods. You know how that feels. And all the Devis, the nymphs are, they're actually up above and they're watching Durvasas and they're like, oh my gosh, like this is such a great thing that, this grumpy, really wise person has opened up to the beauty of the day. So let's give him a gift. And so they decide to bring him this beautiful garland. And this garland is of this like never fading lotus flower that you would wear, maybe like you would get, if you go to Maui and they greet you with that fragrant, very intoxicating lei that goes around your neck. And so they give it to Durvasas, and this makes his day even brighter. He's like, oh my God, somebody recognized that I am in a great mood and that I make a difference in the world. And he's so taken by this gesture that he wants to pay it forward, that he says, you know what, the very next person that I see, I'm going to offer this gift so that the joy in my heart can keep growing. And so the very next being that comes along is Lord Indra. And Lord Indra is riding his great elephant, and he's all full of pomp and circumstance, as very important people can, be. We tend to have this overinflated ego of ourselves. And he receives the gift by Durvasas, and he's sort of like, what am I going to do with this? And so he, is kind of looking at it and waving it around, and his elephant catches wind of this intoxicating smell and reaches up with his trunk. And so the trunk of the elephant grabs the garland, and the intoxication of it just starts waving this garland around and around and around. And next thing you know, the elephant's just gone crazy. Like, this gift is pretty magical to him. And then he's like just stomping in ecstasy and just happy and happy and happy. Durvasas is watching this going, what the hell? Indra just completely dismissed my gift. This elephant has completely trashed it. And he's gone back into his ways of like, this is really messed up and nobody likes me and everything I give is not appreciated. And so he's looking at Indra and he goes, you know what? You are in trouble. You're in trouble. You have now garnered my wrath. and I am going to give it to you. You deserve it. You dismissed me, and here you go. And so all you and all the men and all the armies and all the worlds and all the gods and all the goddesses are now going to pay. And so Indra's like, talk to the handman, whatever, and just lets it go. And doesn't have any regard for what this lowly caste being must think or feel. And anyway, some time goes by, and sure enough, all the gods and all the goddesses start to lose their power. The moon, it's so bright in the sky, starts to shrink and shrivel in its brilliance. Even the sun starts to shiver in its own like retraction. And the wind, the vayu ceases. And so now everything has just stopped and it's stagnant. And it's somewhat like those times in our life where we feel everything pressing in on us. And we have to really then figure out what to do next. And so everyone goes to Brahma and they said, what are you going to do about this? And he's like, I don't know. I created it. It's not my job to make sure it gets sustained. You have to go talk to Vishnu. So they go talk to Vishnu, and Vishnu's like, all right, you guys, here's the deal. We're going to have to step up, roll up our sleeves. And here's the big catch in the story. It's not just you, not just the gods and the goddesses, not just the ever powerful, beautiful aspects of you, but the demons as well, your foes, those parts of you that you have exiled, the parts of you that don't work, the parts of you that you really have trouble embracing, those parts of you that you just don't want to have to deal with. They have to show up too. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to churn this ocean, and you're going to show up and do the work. And I'll become the tortoise. And then you'll grab this great serpent. And as soon as he said serpent, all the demons were like, yes. And they ran to the head of the serpent just because that's what they do. They want to get there first, and they want to grab the good end, and they want to just like hoard all the possibilities. And so the gods and goddesses are like, all right, they get on the tail. And they start churning and churning and churning. And this is indicative of really, truly yoga. It's not the fancy poses. It's not the light you feel. Um, it's not the all the good that you put out into the world. It's actually the work you have to do to know what's inside and to handle those noxious poisons. In fact, as they're churning, the great snake starts to heat up, and he's like, oh my God, this is a lot. And some things start to surface from deep inside him that don't smell so good. And it that noxious gas starts to actually have little bit of deleterious effect on the demons, and they start to weaken. So it's sort of symbolic of using homeopathy, like you use negative to affect negative. You must bring it to the surface and address it and let it be felt and let it dissipate the energy of that which holds you in bondage. And so over time, and the great story says it's like 10,000 years, and that might be like, what, 30 days for you? But anyhow, what starts to happen is as all these noxious things start to rise to the surface, it becomes quite a problem. And so then they have to call in another powerful deity, Shiva. And Shiva is the one who knows how to take the poison of life and give it perspective. And so his story comes in a little later in the mythology of it all. But once he gives it some perspective and holds it in the right appropriate place, then the beauty can start to rise up. And along with, the sacred cow and the sacred tree and all the jewels that we like to wear and adorn ourselves with, uprises on this beautiful lotus flower, the goddess Lakshmi. And she's got two elephants on her side that represent the sustaining force of life. And she's just dripping in beauty and abundance. And in fact, she's got another name, and that's the name of our practice today, the effulgence of beauty. It's called Shri, and SRI, pronounced SH, Shri. Inhale, reach up. Hands to heart. And open the arms nice and wide. Round the body forward. Open the heart by pushing through the legs and rising through the sternum. Round forward, chin to chest. So it's a standing cow cat with a little arm groovy. And feel the shoulder blades do the work. So they're showing up and holding you. Like your heart space is the center of the churning rod. Now we'll add in a little leg. So bring the hands forward, Hakini Mudra, hook, touch all 10 fingertips. Now we'll just work the leg line first. So push the right foot back and touch the toes. Make sure that glute is on. And so when you touch the toes down, you've got the strength of the back leg so you can open the heart. And then bring it forward. Now root firmly through the grounded right leg. And inhale, touch down, and then open. So we must root into something to rise up. And bring it in. And root down, open, and round in. Now your breath, your motion, as fast or as slow. And my recommendation is eyes stay down on one place. And maybe when you lift the sternum, you can lift the gaze. But the gaze goes first. And the breath. Movement follows. Breath and gaze. There we go. Now, if you feel really steady there, you can liberate the back leg. Be sure you're moving from upper and inner, outer hip. Yeah, don't get caught like the demons at the periphery. Always going for the bright and shiny. Yeah, one more. Anchor it down, lift up. Bow in. Open up. Downward dog. Inhale to your knees. And paint it back. Remember the external rotation and the top of the throat. If this is too much on your knees, I get it. You don't have to go all the way back. And you can find hands to the back pocket here. Reach down to rise up. Padma Mudra. Reach it forward. Walk the knees back or the hands more forward. Knees, chest, chin. All the way to the belly. Into your forehead. And then lengthen and lift one leg at a time. And we'll bring your hands back by your outer hips with the palms down, fingertips down. Bend your elbows, lift your upper arm bones, and we'll lift just the right leg. And breathe. Remembering what it felt like to use your tailbone strength and your middle upper back strength. Press the top of your throat and your uh, head up to the sky, so nose and chin lift. And then maybe you liberate the hands here. And lower down. Push down through the whole of your right leg so that you can lift your left leg. Push down through all 10 fingertips. Make sure right below the navel is strong, your tailbone strong. And inhale, rise up any degree. Breathe. And lower. Inhale, right side. Breathe. And the exhale carries you down. Inhale, left. Hold the pose. Deepen the breath. And lower. Now, if you want to, you can do both legs first. Keep the hands down. Really make sure the energy is firm around your tailbone. And then maybe you lift up. Careful. Now breathe. Now keep the heart lifted. Bring the hands where you would for cobra. Anchor down through the feet. Pull the belly button forward and curl up cobra. Try to stretch the belly button forward another inch. Drag the knees energetically forward. And then lower the belly button another inch forward. Up and back, downward dog. Now, downward dog is a good rest pose. So let the exhales get loud and long through the mouth. Those kinds of exhales where you're moving out some stagnation. Let the wind move. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, up and back. Open up, three-legged dog. Circle out the ankle and the toes. Square it up. Please step your right foot outside the right wrist. Step the knee down. Take that left hand forward and wide. Pull the back knee in, push through your front heel. And this time we'll take that right arm forward. Sweep it to your left. As you anchor right hip down and towards inner left thigh, open the heart. Right knee can go wide, as wide as you need to keep space in your hip. Now stretch that right arm up. Left shoulder blade remains on the back. And if it's true to you, drag the left knee forward, lift your left foot, and see if foot and hand are in the neighborhood. If they're not in the neighborhood, you can push your hips back, put your left hand on a block, or forget about the quad stretch at all and just know that you're getting what you need. Yeah. Everyone, bend your right elbow up and squeeze your shoulder blades. Top of the throat back. And as your tailbone roots, pull the top of the throat back and let the heart rise. Slowly release. Sweep it up. Bow in. Ardha Hanuman. Right hand inside right ankle. Sweep that leg back and up. Left arm forward. Work your breath. And hands down, feet to the right, hips back. Inhale, center, down doggy. And drawing the feet to the midline. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, knee to navel. And open up, stack your hips, circle your ankle. Give it your breath. I love how Durvasas, the sage who gives Indra the garland, he gets so easily pulled back into his judgment and criticisms of being dissed. Yeah, step that left foot forward. Doesn't that sound familiar? It does to me anyway. Bring the knee down. Take your right hand nice and wide. You can open the left foot out a little bit and bring that left arm forward. Make sure that your side body is long on the right, your shoulder blade stays on your back as you sweep that arm along your ear, using right shoulder blade to pivot. Squeeze outer left hip to inner right thigh. And just find your heart space here. Stretching. Left arm to the sky. Keep pulling that right knee towards the front middle of your mat. And then slowly bend the knee and lift your foot. And maybe hand to foot unite. If you have to, you'll push your hips as far back as you need, or you'll let go of grasping and reaching for the unattainable in the moment. If Lakshmi is going to teach us one thing, it's how to really be cool with who we are and how we do what we do. Just not falling in love with anything else other than what we are, and how we do what we do is really just going to create more poison and more drama. And then all the while, can we let those fractured parts of self, those parts of us that show up and eat a bag of potato chips at midnight, can we let that part be seen and heard? Or those parts of us that yearn and can't really fathom how there are certain demons in the world, people with certain names. Can we allow those parts of ourselves to feel the feels and then do the work? Lift up, downward dog. Generously bent knees and downward dog. That's going to be one of the demons of the lower back forever and always for a lot of you. You're going to have to keep remembering to bend your knees, find your upper back, your shoulder blades, and then try to lengthen your spine by pushing the upper thighs back and the sit bones higher. Slowly lower the knees. And have a seat. Namaste. Thanks, y'all.